Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen, to NBR, or as we like to call it around here, Nothing But Rants, the show where I find topics that I'm oddly passionate about and I pontificate upon them. These are not hot takes, but rather takes that I'm hot about. What's up? You really like that?
Let's shut up and grind some tape.
Ooh-wee. We got receipts today. Well, it wasn't today. We got receipts last night. Late last night, them Oregon Ducks, they put out them receipts. They put out a 5.5 minutes. 5.5 minutes of a cinematic experience. I mean, that's exactly what it was. Titled Ducks versus Them, Game 4 Cinematic Recap. And I'm telling you right now, that some bitch was cinematic. It was absolutely elite. Some of the best social media content I think I've seen in a long time on Twitter with regards to a videographer or videography department up there with the Oregon Ducks. And I'm gonna tell you what, we got all kind of goodies from this video today. But obviously the one that the world is talking about this evening or this morning, late last night, or at least the one we're talking about today, and we're gonna show you with clips. I don't know if the national media has been talking about this, but the Colorado Buffaloes, or as we call them around here, them Buffaloes was talking some of the most outlandish and disrespectful shit I've ever seen in my life, okay? And I want to preface this by saying this, okay? Because I do have some credentials here, all right? I have been on a football field, a college football field, every single Saturday in the fall for the last 10 years. That's where I've been, okay? So that knowing that and having that bit of information, understand that I've never seen anything like this. I've seen kerfuffles. I've seen Georgia, Missouri defensive line skirmish before the game. I've seen rivalry games where they come to the middle of the field and a linebacker at Michigan does the foot thing on the logo at Michigan State, and then they got to separate. I've seen all this stuff. I ain't never seen a 21.5 point underdog walk over, okay, and do some of the stuff that I saw Colorado do on social media this week or on these clips, okay? Again, some of the most outlandishly disrespectful shit talking you'll ever see, okay? This is not your average, defensive lineman, offensive lineman chirping before the football game. This was not chirping. This was some stuff that I haven't seen. Again, we have a clip that we're going to show you here in a little bit of a player who appeared to be not dressed out at all, talking to an Oregon camera, okay? A Colorado Buffalo talking to an Oregon social media videographer, getting in the lens, saying, 911, I'd like to report a murder. We fitting to murder some ducks, okay? So we had Colorado football players talking, not shit to players, talking shit to the social media teams, cameras, all right? With such confidence. You had Oregon players doing the stomping on the middle of the field during their walkthrough yesterday, and I thought this one was the one worst of all. Okay, obviously you saw Shiloh Sanders telling them that he beat the shit out of every single body over there, including the coaches. By the way, I've met that defensive line coach. Ain't shit to play with on there. Shiloh Sanders. That dude would snap you like a twig. I've met Mans. Mans a big dude. Man's about 6'3". Man's about 260. Man's bald. Okay, or no, flat top. Flat top, real tight sides. And by the way, was dressed in all black, long sleeves, long pants, down in Lowndes, Georgia, okay, in the springtime, 95-degree heat. He is a psycho. He is not one to be played with. All right, so all of that included. But I thought the most disrespectful and I ain't never seen some shit like that in my life, stuff that I saw on that video, was number 95. Okay, and we'll see him. And make sure you point him out and notice what I'm talking about. That's why I'm prefacing all this, so you can see it happening when it happens. Number 95, who I looked up today, by the way, is a backup nose tackle. He is a second stringer. He is standing, I've never seen this, standing on the far side end, on Oregon's end, during not pregame warm-up, I'm talking about hours before, when everyone's out in shorts and t-shirts doing their calisthenics and just getting their body hot. Buddy is sitting over there on the Oregon sideline watching Bo Nix do his calisthenics and laughing and just going, ha, 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 look at this idiot. We're finna eat him alive. They lose by 37 points. I ain't seen nothing like this. Play these clips, man. This is some crazy shit.
You want me to screen share it?
I want to screen share it. I want to hear it. I want to see it. I want them.
Everybody's tired of hearing about robbery. No question. And that's going to show up on the football.
The Cinderella story is over, man.
It's pretty nice.
Does that all mean something to you? Does that all mean something to you? Yeah, I sure as hell means something to me.
Hey, I'd like to report a crime to the murder to these ducks.
Heard, you saw the coach I was talking about, the defensive line coach who's a psycho. You saw what he said, right? He said they're not worth paying attention to. So this is what I'm talking about. Like, social media did the, it's football, people be shit talking. No. Shit talk is me, Kirby, I hate your shirt. Oh, really? You look like an idiot today. That's shit talk. Shit talk is not me walking into the room and just fucking saying shit to Kirby just to say it to him. And Kirby sitting over there trying to do his work. That's not shit talk. That's disrespect. There was a lot of disrespect in that pregame, okay? And they got it back. All right, they did get it back. And what I did not see today, okay, I saw ESPN guys getting on Twitter and social media yesterday getting so hyped and so happy about how Dan Lanning, how dare he invite cameras into his locker room and have a pregame speech. Oh, Dan Lanning's picking on Deion Sanders. Ain't nobody picking on Deion Sanders. That stuff right there, okay, going out and doing that stuff in pregame and saying those things is a direct representation of your football coach. Your football coach allows that stuff, okay? So if that's going to happen, then you have to take the repercussions from the opposition, and that's exactly what happened on Saturday. I think they learned a lesson.
I mean, it's one thing to talk your stuff after you make a play or after you do something huge or something big happens in a game, but to do it in the pregame, to do it when you're an underdog, like, you know, most teams in that situation, when you're a 21-point underdog, they'll stay a little quiet. But then afterwards, if you pull off the upset, if you do what you think you're supposed to do, then you can talk your stuff because you've earned that right. But at that point, Colorado hadn't earned that right to go out there and just disrespect the Oregon logo, disrespect their players like that, and then get embarrassed, rightfully so.
I kind of liked it.
You would like
You kind of liked knowing that you're about to get your ass beat and still talking shit?
I kind of respect it. Not even and yeah, the shit talking was out there. Like it's more than what you usually hear. I've heard some crazy stuff too, like just on the field in passing, things like that. Not even from my experiences, but it was interesting to see being a 21-point underdog and talking like that. Like at that point, you just have to respect it.
What a swerve on the take.
You have to respect it? I don't think so.
Like, what would you want them to do? Come in there and be like, oh, you know, we really respect Oregon. They're a great program. We're ready to give it our all. I mean, that's not ever what Deion Sanders' team was going to do.
Yeah, but Deion's also the one that's always preaching about, oh, they done made it personal. And they're the ones that are talking about, like, well, we're going to have to go take care of our business. And now they're the ones that are talking, and they're the ones making it personal.
Yeah, I mean, they made it personal, and they paid the price for it.
This isn't new, by the way. Travis Hunter, I mean, it's on his YouTube page. Against Colorado State last week, he was standing on the opposite end while they were doing routes on air. Again, this is stuff you don't see. This is crossing the lines of just unwritten rules. Unwritten rules are, I'm not just going to go over there and provoke you to provoke you. And that's what's been going on. They did it against Colorado State, and that game was highly, highly intensified. Okay, 45-42, they get out of it, they win the football game, all right? But they didn't look great doing so. And they do the same stuff this week. Again, shit talking at midfield is normal. It is 100% normal. Me walking over into your routes on air and standing there talking about I stand on my business, that's not normal. That's provoking. That's disrespectful. That is, I'm gonna let everybody know that we finna talk with our pads today. And that's what's happened.
Yeah, and I mean, it is antagonizing. I don't even think it's the worst example of antagonizing in college football. Like, you remember in 2019 when LSU played Texas and LSU players went over to the Texas sideline, took water bottles.
I did not see this.
You haven't seen this?
No.
Oh, my God. Jay Will, if you can pull that up, I don't know if it'll be able to. Literally, so this is before the Texas-LSU game. They're doing warm-ups, route running and stuff. I think it's like I think it's not Justin Jefferson. It's Clavion Chason and all them. They're in nothing but their pads. They don't have shirts on. They go over to the Texas sideline, and they're drinking their water. Yeah. And it starts a big scuffle. That was when the Texas had the real DBU shirts and things.
Huh. Well, they stood on business that day, though.
They did, though. But that's why I think it's like to do that and still know you're a 21-point underdog is kind of funny to me. I like it. I like the bit.
I get it. I can understand, like, it would be interesting to have your football team have that type of confidence. Now, is it false confidence? Is it an irrational sense of confidence comes with prime?
Yeah.
Prime side effects, irrational sense of confidence.
Prime side effects, irrational sense. I mean, he bought the entire team shades 2 weeks ago and was like, and they're like, oh shit, we're movie stars. So it's like, you have to come to expect this from Colorado. No, it's not normal, but I also don't think that people should praise it or say it's as bad as people are trying to make it out to be. I think it's football, and I think it's who Deion Sanders is. It's who Deion Sanders has been since he played at Florida State. So,
as long as it's consistency, right? Is this a TV broadcast?
Yeah.
Or do you have someone's Twitter? I got to see this. I haven't seen this.
Doesn't look like it's TV broadcast.
Holy smokes. Oh, no, it's ABC here in the corner. Just be quick. Just be quick.
Don't play very often. Haven't played in nearly 17 years, but they share enough old high school battles. They share a border, recruiting territory.
That's Chason.
Things got a little animated.
That's on their side.
That's wild. A lot of smack talk. I don't think that they were applauding the fact that
they just went over there and took the water. That's wild. That's
Texas water.
What says D.R. Jones? Man, that's wild. Went over there and took the water. It looked like they took the taped water too, which was probably the pickle juice. Y'all know about that pickle juice?
I love pickle juice, man.
Y'all know about pickle juice on the sideline?
Oh yeah.
Hey, I don't think we got taken down there now. We're just not gonna be able to monetize this one later because ESPN's gonna catch it. But sometimes ESPN be getting you during the live stream and pulling the stream down because. Yeah, dude, the AI over there at YouTube is legit. Hey, welcome into tonight's show. We got a loaded one for you. It is NBR, and as you can tell by the title, we got rankings tonight. We're going to be talking a little bit of rankings. We're going to do over-under tonight. We're going to guess the spreads while also giving you some Week 5 predictions, slapping those things on you. We're going to give you a Heisman odds update, and as I told you, I'm going to give you not only my top 10 SEC quarterbacks, spoiler alert, I'm going to rank all top 10 quarterbacks in college football right now today. We put out the top 10 rankings of the SEC over on Twitter. What?
I like that.
You like that?
Graphic.
The graphic? Because of number 10?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, I sat through it this morning because I knew we were going to do this. And it had a lot of engagement this weekend, or last week. So I knew rankings are something I'm going to have to do. And I'm watching these tapes anyways, so I might as well give some opinions on it. There are not 10 good quarterbacks in the conference. There are not. You cannot tell me that there are 10. Because you get through 9, and we're going to talk about it a little bit later. You get through 9, and you're like, Jalen Milroe, who's my other M we were just talking about earlier? Joe Milton, not playing great. There's not a lot. It's not a lot. We got some football team. Devin Leary, not great. We still got some football teams rotating quarterbacks as well. So we're going to talk about that a little bit later tonight. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. Make sure you like and subscribe and rate and review. And I'm trying to find me the NBR listener who doesn't listen to TTD. That's what I'm trying to find. Because there's a bunch of y'all that listen to TTD that don't listen to NBR. Okay, obviously that is our local hour and our national hour. We talk some Georgia, we talk some national college football here in this hour. Obviously the Georgia hour is loaded down with viewers. You guys show support and love there. Continue to build this one. I think we do a great job here. And here's how I know. Y'all watch this at record rates, okay? I've been in this industry long enough. I've had enough, I've spoken to enough business decision makers, okay? I know what industry standards look like. We set, not records, we set crazy numbers on this with regards to retention. It is very sticky. If you found it, you love it, all right? So continue to spread that love to your friends, your family. I see Pate do it. Pate's great at this. Pate has people out here showing his damn show at dealerships, all right? So if you have any way to let people know a little bit more about this show, I would appreciate that greatly. Y'all do a great job of supporting us here on the network. Make sure you're supporting Prize Picks as well. PrizePicks.com, promo code Brooks. Get you a 100% deposit match over there. Boys, how we doing? I know I haven't welcomed you in on NBR. How we doing today? How we feeling?
Doing good.
Yeah?
Doing fantastic.
Very good. Very good.
We're 4 weeks in. We're a month in. We're a month and a half in here, right? We started August 7th.
August 7th.
August 7th here on this network, 8/7/23. How are we feeling, man? How are we feeling with our first, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, getting in some content?
It's become a routine at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, it's definitely taxing. It's a lot of work, but at this point, I'm used to it. So
The pre-shows work. The show doesn't feel it.
nah,
Right?
Show goes by quick.
Nah, show's just, man, doing what you love.
Yeah,
just talking
doing
some
what you
ball,
love.
man.
But there is work to it, man. I'm glad you guys are settling in, man. I'm glad you guys, as an audience, have taken to these two dudes because they work really, really hard and they do some great shit around our network in totality, right? Everywhere on the SI front and here on YouTube as well. So appreciate you guys for being here tonight. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button. All right. Kirby and I am not a gambler, but grew up in a gambling family, just like I am not a drinker anymore, but I promise you I can still sling it with anybody in this bedroom. Whoa.
Whoa! Pause. That's like 3-second pause.
All right, bro,
Don't say
you gotta end
anything
the
at all.
stream.
I can still slug them with anybody in this room, all right? We can still do that. I can still gamble with anybody in this room because I come from that gambling family. And, my pops was one of them gambling guys, not to do Pops' shit right now. But, yeah, I'm going to expose Pops right quick. Pops used to do the thing where he had a bookie on the phone and he had a registered number, okay? Pops' number was 313. So every time, this is 313. Let me get so-and-so on such and such. Understand the lines relatively well and pretty well versed with the gambling. We're going to see how well-versed I am tonight. So here's the premise. And by the way, if you listen to anything from Bill Simmons, you know how Guess the Lines works. Me and Kirby pitted against each other. He's our other gambling man here in the family. So here's how this works. We're going to put up a football game. We're going to guess the line. All right. Whoever guesses the lines closest gets the win on that one. All right. We're going to win-loss these, moving down the slate. And whoever has the most, I don't know. We're going to have to figure out a winner or loser method here towards the end of the year on these things. We got to help out with the audience. Got to help us out with some of those maybe. Don't go crazy. All right. No shaving your head. No crazy go eat 24 hours worth of Waffle House waffles. Nothing stupid. All right. Just some fun wagering between friends and pals here. Let's start with the Georgia-Auburn game. Jay Will's got the actual line. I'm going to guess, and I think we both saw this, so I think this is the only one we're kind of not completely blind on.
Yeah, that in Tennessee.
Yeah,
Those are two
I
ones
I think Auburn's a really bad football team. I think this line should be 21.5 is what I think it should be. That's my guess. What's your guess?
I'm going to say it's probably at 18 right now. 3 scores, not 3 touchdowns, though. Jordan Hare is a weird place to play.
And that's what you're banking on?
Yeah.
That you think Jordan Hare is actually something. And it is. What's the line, Jay Will?
14.5.
That makes sense.
It doesn't make sense to me.
It doesn't make sense to me either.
It doesn't. You're telling me Georgia basically has to score 24 points Saturday to cover?
They might have to. Yeah, they might have to score 17 to be honest.
UAB has a better chance of scoring, and they did Saturday than Auburn.
Yeah, well, I think the way they're looking at it is that Georgia traditionally this season hasn't had an explosive offense to come out the gate. It might take even longer to do in their first away game against what is probably the best defense they've played so far. On top of that, Auburn's going to run the shit out of the football a lot, and people are kind of in on the fact that this isn't the best Georgia run defense you've had in the last 3 seasons. It might be, out of 2021, 2022, and 23, not the best statistically speaking, and that's what a lot of people look at. So,
I mean, what's the difference? They're instead of giving up 3.6 yards per carry, they're giving up 3.9. Like how bad is Georgia running against the run this year on defense? Are they allowing 116 yards per game or something?
I don't even
It can't
think
be
it's
that bad.
it's not that bad, but it's definitely not as good as it has been the past 2 seasons, which is hard to do, but that's something to look into.
I think at what?
They're giving up an average of 87 yards per game on the ground.
That makes sense.
Yeah, so they must be ranked poorly because everybody else is just shutting mid-majors out against the run. Yeah, I don't understand. Like, there's a stat floating around out there that Georgia has allowed game highs or season highs against the run against all 4 opponents, meaning the 4 opponents that they played. South Carolina had the best rushing success all year against Georgia that they did anybody else. And you know what this is? This is them trying to keep the game close. That's what it is. It's teams being willing and able to run the football because that's all they're doing over and over again.
Did you see there was an AI model that said Auburn wins the game?
Yeah, I also saw it's the football nerds. They're,
Yeah.
they're friends of the show. They watch, they follow.
since changed
They're
it.
good people, and I think they had a bug in their system because it
did.
wasn't just that. They had Georgia Southern beating Ohio State.
Yep.
So don't
Trust the model.
don't trust that model,
Trust the
but
model.
trust it now because they fixed it. They do good work over there. I'm not a big analytical guy. It's actually the antithesis of what we do here, but they do good stuff. So if you're into nerds and if you're into numbers, head over to the College Football
You're
Nerds.
into nerds.
Hey, if you like nerds, you got a little nerd fetish. Kirby takes the win on that first one. Tennessee versus South Carolina. This one's in Knoxville. I think this line should be Tennessee -5. That's what it should be. Now, I've peeked at this one. I'm gonna take the L because it should be -5. I'm taking South Carolina in this football game with the points because this line is stupid to me. What are you guessing?
Last time I checked it was at 17, so I'll guess 17.5. I think
That's high.
I think the fact that what happened last year has left a really bad taste in Tennessee's mouth, combined with the fact that both of these defenses allow explosives. I think they're going to lean Tennessee's way because that's kind of what Tennessee's offense is predicated on, running you to sleep and then explosives over the top. So I'll say
I think the real line's right in the middle of our two guesses.
Yeah,
gonna say
12.5. But what's
12.5.
interesting, though, is Tennessee hasn't been that explosive on offense this year.
they haven't.
Kirby takes the win.
They haven't, but traditionally a Heupel-led offense is
For sure.
explosive.
And I mean, South Carolina's defense has been okay. They've competed hard. All right, and they're well coached. I think they don't bust assignments at all. And I think the main concern I had on film watching them was Stone Blanton, 52. He's played much better week in and week out. So they're improving as a unit. Here's my fear. Since you saw what Georgia did to him in the second half with the pressure and getting home and him impacting Spencer Rattler, this Tennessee defensive line, say what you want about Tennessee's defense, they can get after the quarterback. If that's the one thing they can do that. All right, so they will heat up Spencer Rattler on Saturday. They're going to blitz him and pressure him a ton. I don't necessarily agree with that line. 12.5 is a lot for me. I think South Carolina plays it a lot tighter than that. Let's go on to the next one. Notre Dame at Duke. I think it would be far better for us to go ahead and make our predictions while we're doing this, so we don't circle back on these same games and do same analysis over and over again. So production note on the fly here. Georgia Auburn. I got Georgia to cover big time. I think this is a 35-7 football game.
Yeah, I think it's going to be what you've seen over the rivalry over the past few years. It's going to be Georgia scoring 38 points and Auburn maybe getting a late touchdown.
The only thing I can think happening here is Carson Beck looks real shaky and nerve-wracking on his road start, throws a couple interceptions. Maybe this is a 14-10 football game in the fourth quarter. Maybe.
Yeah, I think it's going to be another, quote, slow start for the offense. It's going to be like 10-0 at halftime probably. I think Georgia wins it like 31-6 or something like that.
Even if they are stagnant offensively, depth will become an issue for Auburn in the second half. And Georgia should be able to lean on this football team, even if they can't throw the ball Saturday, which I don't think is going to be a problem, even though there's a bunch of zone. They play a bunch of zone on tape is what it looked like. I think that's why they turn teams over so much. They have one safety with 3 interceptions, and you can tell what he's doing. He's robbing. Okay, they look like they're playing too high. He's playing in the hole. Next thing you know, he's picking balls off.
Well, 2 of those picks are off tips too.
Exactly, and a lot of that is tip balls come from zone defenses because defenders have their chest and eyes on the quarterback. They're floating in the windows. I honestly think a decision-making quarterback like Carson has a bit of a better chance to have bigger games against zone defenses than he does against man defenses because, in my opinion, and the criticism you guys have had, is he's turned down some stuff, right? He's turned down tight windows. Well, man defenses are tight windows. You got to throw balls into tight windows, whereas zones are reading concepts, understanding where your players are going to be, and throwing into open windows. He's done that really well. I like Georgia in this game, relatively big. Again, the turnovers are the only thing I can see happening in that. I've already said I like South Carolina closer than the experts think. 12.5 is way too much for me. I think Beamer plays, and Rattler's playing out of his mind right now.
Yeah.
So I like that.
I also think this is a closer game than the odds makers are giving it, but I do think Tennessee pulls out on top. So
I want to hold on before you give your prediction. I want to give a quick shout out. We have a record number right now, live views on this channel, on this platform, on this show.
Hell yeah.
So much of me
Thumbs up for that.
So much of me wants to pick South Carolina in this game because Spencer Rattler is playing well. Tennessee's defense, specifically the secondary, isn't all that great.
Don't be a puss. Do it. Do it.
All right, fine. You know what? 10 toes down. I think South Carolina does win this football game in
Let's
Neyland
go.
Stadium because I am on the Spencer Rattler train. Xavier
Beamer
Leggett has
ball,
been
baby.
playing well, and I think the offensive line can do enough to help him out. And I think Loggins can script up an offensive game plan to where he can.
Look at my kid. My guy's growing up over here, man. Way to stand on it, 10 toes down. But no, dude, you're right. Like, you're right in the sense that, let's put it up this way. Who's got the better quarterback?
South Carolina.
Who's got the better special teams?
South Carolina.
Who's got the more dependable and consistent performance this year?
South Carolina.
Who's the better team on paper? Tennessee.
Tennessee.
That's what's getting them, right? Vegas is a big on paper team, evaluation every once in a while.
And I always don't want to get into this thing of like, oh, well, it's in Neyland Stadium and that's a big deal. You know, I really do think South Carolina can pull this game out.
Veteran quarterback play, veteran defense.
Yeah, I think the fact that it's in Neyland really helps. Neyland's a tough place to play.
It is. All right, let's get on to the next football game. We got Notre Dame at Duke. I'm going to guess College Game Day's here, right? Mm-hmm. I'm going to guess Notre Dame -6.5.
Ooh, I was going to go 8.
Okay, you got it at 8. I got it at 6.5. What's
Yeah.
the line?
Brooks wins 5.5.
Hey, I finally get a win.
5 was going to be my original thought, and I was like, nah, it's too low.
Sloppy ass football game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think these two are going to freaking. I had a coach that used to say, we're going to play toe in the line football. Okay, we're going to put a toe on the line. We're going to put a line in the grass with our toe, and then we're going to stand right here. We're just going to trade blows. That's what this football game fitting to be.
Yeah.
This football game's fitting to be. I am Notre Dame. I am Duke. Okay, and they're just going to go.
Fighting out.
It's going to look like slap boxing.
Yeah, I think part of me wants to say that this is one of those spiral games for Notre Dame because the way you lost last week was so emotional. It took so much out of you.
Yeah.
And then you have to go on the road and play a actually really solid Duke team.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's part of the reason why this line is so low. I just think that,
No rest for the weary here.
yeah, I think Sam Hartman's a good enough quarterback to get it done. I think they're a superior team talent-wise. I like Notre Dame to cover in this.
This is an elite quarterback matchup.
It is.
It's an elite quarterback matchup between Riley Leonard and Sam Hartman. Riley Leonard, biggest hit on the evaluation scale for your boy. I think we've already done our victory lap on that, so no need to do it now. So transitive properties don't exist. We don't talk about them.
Nope.
Okay, we don't think they are properties. We don't think they work. But Clemson did lose to this football game or to this Duke team, and Clemson has to play Notre Dame later in the year. Duke walked up, played man coverage against Clemson. I don't know if they're going to be able to do that against Notre Dame. I like Notre Dame in this football game by 7. I think they barely squeak by a cover.
Yeah, so we're both on the same page.
Yeah,
Take them Devils. Do it.
I want to because
Just the points. Take the points. You ain't got to take them out, right?
No, yeah, I think that I'll take the points. I think this is like a 3-point win. I think it's something like, 24-21 final score. Really good. Both are really good quarterbacks. This would be a game that Notre Dame or Duke has to win in order for them to finish as a top 15 football team, like I boldly predicted them at the beginning of the season. And I just think that both teams are good and both teams are evenly matched on both sides of the football. I just do think that Notre Dame has better answers for what Duke offers. So I think they squeak it out, but I think it's going to be a competitive football game.
I think another thing that we don't really that doesn't really go into account against that Duke Clemson game. Clemson moved the ball on them.
They did.
They didn't have
They
trouble
fumbled
moving
3
the ball.
times in the
They
red zone?
fumbled 3 times in the red zone. 2 of them led to touchdowns. So, theoretically, you play that game 100 times, that's not going to happen every time. Clemson moved the ball.
They have played it 100 times. In the history of Clemson football, I think if they rushed for 250 and threw for 250, they won 111 team games.
11 teams.
111 team. 118 straight games.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yes, Duke,
111 team? God dang, what's going on in my head tonight?
well, that's what I'm saying. Yes, Duke played the successful man coverage and won 28-7 because of it, but it's not like Clemson wasn't moving the ball, and I think Notre Dame has a much better offense than Clemson. So, and again, transitive property doesn't go that, but when you look at styles, I think it looks up better.
All right, so you're up on Guess the Lines 2-1 right now. Let's go on to our next one unless you got something else.
I was just going to say there is like a perfect recipe for Duke to pull this one out because you did just play Ohio State. You lost you had an emotional loss. Now you got to travel to Duke. this
And
week.
to have lost that game the way that they did,
Yeah.
there's ingredients for a spiral.
And now this has officially become Duke's biggest football game of the season. Students are going to be hyped. The crowd's going to be there. There's definitely a perfect recipe for it.
It's definitely a wheels fall off type game for sure. I just think I trust Sam Hartman.
I trust Sam Hartman. I think despite what happened last week, I think Marcus Freeman prepares his football team as well as anybody else. They don't get blown out.
No.
Notre Dame has, since Marcus Freeman has taken over that job, I don't think they've lost ugly football games. And I think have they?
I feel like
There's one?
in the first season. I'll look it up. Keep talking.
All right, let's go on to our next one. Florida at Kentucky. Now, going into the season, I would have said Kentucky's probably favored by 9 points in this football game. Now, here we are. Kentucky's leading the SEC in explosive margins. Okay, they've had a pretty good it's been okay start to the season offensively, but they haven't played anybody at all. It's been some Youngstown State type vibes out there at home. And now you welcome a Florida team who will put your ass in a box, okay, and will punch you in the mouth defensively and get after you and get after the quarterback. I think Kentucky's favored by 4 points in this football game.
It's at Kentucky?
It's at Kentucky. And that's why. That's why I put, the line there. I think the home field advantage there is worth like 2.5 points, but I think Kentucky on paper is 1.5 better.
Yeah, man. My gut is telling me Florida minus 1.5.
You think Florida's favored in this football game?
My gut's telling me. That's probably not right, though.
What's the line?
If you would have went the other way, Kentucky -1.
Okay, so I was 3.
Well, you still get the win because I was at -4.
Well, I mean, it's kind of a tie at that point.
All right, we'll put it a tie. Put it a tie there. Thoughts on the football game in general?
I think Kentucky's good at what they do. I don't know if they're good enough at it to score on that Florida defense, one. And I think Graham Mertz is a fine enough quarterback. Like, he's not going to do anything flashy. He's gotten better at taking care of the football, I think. I just think Florida overall is a better team. And I don't know what Devin Leary has to offer on that offense against Florida's defense. That's why I'm kind of just.
Was it Ford Field up there?
Kroger Field.
Kroger Field. I knew it was branded on something.
Go ahead.
What do you think? You went to that game last year. What do you think? I didn't think it was very loud.
No, dude.
Nah, it was 18 degrees.
The best part of being at Kroger Field that day was watching the student section take fireball shots the entire time.
They get after it, huh?
They got after it.
I mean, it was a tight football game, and I never once was like, damn, it's loud as shit up in here.
No.
And they had a chance to beat the national defending champions.
I know. And there was people leaving in the middle of the third quarter during that game. Like, the student section was empty.
Again, Kentucky football fans, if you exist, don't get mad at us. Okay, it was 18 degrees, so I will preface that.
Yeah. I might have left in the middle of the third quarter if I could have.
Yeah, I probably would have too. I was on the field for that game.
Yeah.
And man, I was a whole scene in that post-game press conference. I had one of those.
Elmer Fudd's.
Yeah, Elmer Fudd hats on.
Trapper hats?
Yeah, I had a trapper
those
hat
shits
on.
are so warm.
They are so warm. But they were so warm that when I walked into the presser, I had to take it off. Oh my God, dude. Ugh. Just like grease mat down. I looked like I was about to sing some emo music. I don't know any emo lyrics, but I was about to sing one. No, I think Kentucky should be favored in this football game. They are favored in this football game, but I think Florida wins it.
Yeah, I think I'll take Florida too.
Big
can't believe
snooze
I'm saying
kickoff, man. That's what this
Big
game should be
snooze
called.
kickoff.
This game's going to finish 17-10 or something like that. Not a whole lot of offense going on in this game, I don't think.
14-6.
Yeah, something along the lines of that.
14-6 with a special teams tud.
This is one of those games where you get all the Michigan and Ohio State Twitter accounts that have the quotes where it's like, "Oh, Big Ten doesn't play offense. They're so boring."
Yeah.
And that shows a screenshot of that game. That's what this game is going to be.
Shut up, Iowa.
I guarantee that's going to be a tweet sometime Saturday when it's Kentucky and Florida are tied 7-7 in the middle of the fourth quarter.
I'm going to take Kentucky because these are the types of games I think Mark Stoops wins. He's shown that over his tenure at Kentucky. It's why they are consistently a 8-win, 9-win football team in the SEC under Stoops. So I think Kentucky wins this game by like 7 points.
I just think Armstrong and that defense and how they are operating, they are they're built from the Georgia mold, and that Georgia mold is predicated off of limiting explosives. And the Kentucky offense right now is having success with explosives. So I think it's a real combative environment there for the Kentucky Wildcats. And I am king of Stoops Mountain, okay? I am king of Mark Mountain, all right? We all know the Stoopy love for your boy here, but I think I'm going to take the Gators there, and I can't believe that. All right, on to our next game. Texas A&M at Arkansas. Arkansas defense, a little suspect, giving up 38 points the last 2 weeks. I am going to say, is Connor Weigman playing? I think it's a high ankle
Yeah, he's
sprain.
hurt, isn't he?
Yeah, he is hurt. Max Johnson's going to play. And he didn't look terrible. They just didn't score. They didn't put the ball in the box on Saturday when he got in there. I'm going to say Texas A&M is favored by 3 points in this football game.
I'll go A&M 5.5. I think Arkansas is on like a really bad streak right here, starting off with that BYU loss, and now you lose in heartbreaking fashion to LSU. I would wonder where the mindset of that team is right now. I would go A&M 5.
All right, you said 5.5.
Yeah,
I
5.5.
said 3. What is it?
A&M minus 6.5.
Wow.
Sounds about right.
Vegas really likes A&M, don't they?
I mean, they have a super talented roster. It's underutilized and poorly coached, but
Maybe they have to do that because you never know which one you're going to get. You don't know if you're going to give up. I gave up 60 to Miami,
and they
or
know
if you're
that
going to give up or get. I actually played defense today.
And I think they know that the people that are betting on the game are thinking the same way. Like, I don't know. I could get the Texas A&M team that could go out there and put up 40-plus points, or I could get the Texas A&M team that's just going to sleep through it.
Texas A&M is one of those teams you stay away from.
I was about to say that's what I was
Yeah.
about to say. I would want to know who the least bet football team is, and I bet A&M's up there.
Out of the Power 5, it's probably Texas A&M.
My dad always had a rule: stay away from Georgia under Mark Richt because you never know who they are. So he just never bet on them.
That's fair.
So, anyways, we all like A&M in that football game.
Yeah,
Yeah.
A&M's gonna win. I don't know if they'll cover, but
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm taking Arkansas in that football game.
in Jerry World,
I like it.
Yep, neutral site football game. I'm taking Arkansas.
I like that pick.
I think they have the better quarterback. I think they have the football coach that will have them most ready to play in terms of attitude and effort and playing hard for 4 quarters. They've lost 2 tight football games. Okay, defensively they didn't look great, and KJ Jefferson basically has to play perfect. But we're going to talk about that a little bit later when we do our quarterback.
Turn
rankings.
that damn jukebox on.
Turn that
baby.
jukebox up. Ole Miss versus LSU. I'll be quick. I think LSU's favored by 5.5.
LSU more than a touchdown, so I'll go 9.
LSU minus 2.5.
Oh,
Wow.
that's a dub for your boy. So
Yeah, I guess that actually makes
Vegas
sense.
thinks Ole Miss gonna bounce back, huh?
Yeah, and LSU
Play
did
'em
look like
tight.
shit against Arkansas.
They did. My concern for years with Ole Miss under Lane Kiffin has been defense. Do we think Ole Miss is 24 points per game good, or Jalen Milroe's that bad?
Jalen Milroe's that bad.
Yeah?
Jalen Milroe is a very bad quarterback.
Stared it down again on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean,
Just-
you had at minimum you had 3 points there, and you gave it away. So it's like,
Rough stuff there.
yeah,
All right, so how do we predict the game?
I personally think LSU wins big.
it's in Oxford, right?
I think it's in Death Valley.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
it's
if it's
LSU.
in Death Valley, LSU will win.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's at Ole Miss.
Oh, it's at
Okay,
Ole
if
Miss.
it's
I wrote it
in
backwards.
Oxford, LSU wins by like a score, I think.
What time's the game? Do we know?
Probably the 3:30.
It's
I
6
wouldn't
o'clock.
Oh, yeah, so they're going to be nice and hammered. Nice and hammered.
Hotty toddy.
That's one, I went out there for a visit in high school, and you don't get to go tailgate during your visit. You obviously have to you know,
Right.
do whatever. Funny story, since we have time. No, we don't have time. Funny story, actually. We'll tell the story. Y'all remember Robin Nkemdiche?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Grayson.
He was a 2013 graduate from Grayson. And so I'm going through my little visit. We're going through the indoor facility, and coach is chatting it up, and you got the little recruiting assistant that drives you around on the golf cart. She's hanging out, talking to you and all that good stuff, telling you about all the stuff and showing you through the weight room and the equipment room, and you get to look at all the jerseys. And then all of a sudden she takes a phone call. And she's like, what? Okay, I'll hurry up. I'll be over there in like 5 minutes. And she hangs up the phone. She's like, Robert Nkemdiche's walking down the street, and he's got like 400 people around him trying to get him to sign autographs. He can't move, so I got to go pick him up. Yeah, it was wild. It was wild for kids like that back in the day. I don't know how. I would imagine they have different processes now. and they don't allow this type of thing to happen. It's probably, Escalade, black vehicle, brought up
Moving
to the
around in the
facility.
popcorn
Yeah,
box.
they're moving. Yeah, that was nuts. 2 Taylor Swift references from you 2 days in a row, huh?
What was the first one?
Yesterday you dropped a T-Swizzle reference with the Kelsey Bros.
No, I dropped the DeAndre
And
Swift.
now a real deep cut with the
DeAndre
with the
Swift
popcorn
and
box.
Jason Kelsey reference.
Do you think they really moved her out of that in a popcorn box?
Yeah, probably.
I mean, there's no other way she got out
Yeah.
of there. They would have saw her. That's crazy. But anyways, what were we talking about?
Robert
Robert
Nkemdiche.
Nkemdiche. Yeah, could not move. Was getting swamped by fans and whatnot, and he didn't get to go to the game. He had to watch the game in the facility with like a couple assistants.
That's crazy.
Wow.
Yeah, a wild time to be a 5-star at a really bad time at Ole Miss. They were not great during that run.
That was during the Land Shark time, though, wasn't it? Or like when he got there, when he was there, that was the Land Shark.
That was that Hugh Freeze or pre-Hugh Freeze?
I think that's Hugh Freeze. That's Laramie Tunsil. That's the wide receiver.
Treadwell?
Yeah, Laquan.
Yeah.
DK
NFL bust.
Metcalf, right?
Yeah, no, that was after.
No,
DK
yeah.
was a couple years later.
That's
DK,
right.
DK and A.J. Brown were in like 2016.
That's right. That's what I was thinking of, DK and A.J. Brown.
Yeah, exactly. But no, Ole Miss, good time. I was out there for the Egg Bowl. Good time. Let's go on to our next football game. Did we predict that one?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I don't
did.
think I did.
I said LSU.
Yeah, I don't think you did.
I am taking. Give me Jackson Dart and Ole Miss. I like it.
That's a 50-50 toss.
It really is.
I don't have
It's
confidence
2
in
football
either of those
coaches that are very inconsistent week to week.
Yeah.
At least in their past. Okay, Brian Kelly had a bunch of inexplicable losses on the record books. Texas versus Kansas this weekend. Going to be a deep breath football game. That's a great way to put it. Deep breath football game right here. I think there's going to be a lot of points scored in this one. Lance Leipold doing some interesting stuff there offensively for Kansas. They are a really, really fun team to watch. If you like to study offense, if you like to, hey, I'm going to steal that one for my rec league football team where my son's going to dominate as a quarterback. If you're one of those guys like I am, I got a whole notebook full of Lance Leipold and Kansas plays. I got Texas minus 6.5 as the line.
It's in, where is it?
It's at Kansas, I think.
It's at Kansas.
Texas minus 9.
No, it's at Texas.
It's at
Never
Texas.
mind.
They beat them.
Texas?
They beat them at Texas.
That's
at
right.
Kansas last
Texas
year.
right.
minus 10.
On that crazy ass 2-point conversion.
Yeah. Was that last year or 2 years ago?
I think it was last year.
That's last year.
Last year they played at Kansas and beat them. This year they're at Texas.
So then, yeah, Texas 10.5.
Texas minus 16.5.
That sounds right.
It's a lot of points, I think.
It's a lot of points.
Yeah, we'll get into predictions.
Go ahead.
I don't believe in it, but I so badly want Kansas to. I want this to be the game that Kansas comes through and wins, and that Texas finally drops it and has their classic, oh, shit, we're Texas. We finally dropped the game. I don't think it'll happen, though. I think Texas is the better team, and they're consistent enough they'll win.
Texas, another one of those teams where you just don't know what you're going to get, because we thought we knew what Texas was this season after they beat Alabama, but then you basically go and lay a stinker against Wyoming, and now you got them. You're at home against Kansas, but Kansas is like one of those sneaky football teams with Jane Daniels, or is it Jaden Daniels?
It's Jalen Daniels.
Jalen Daniels. Always get it mixed up. Jalen Daniels in that offense can put up points. It's just, I think it might just be one of those games where the old saying of whoever gets the ball last, that's who's going to win the football game.
I'm going to take Kansas to cover, and I'm taking the over in the football game, but Texas wins by 14.
I like those.
Colorado versus USC. It's obviously in Boulder. I think I cheated on this one. I got it at 21.5. What do you got?
I'm going to say it's in Boulder. I'm going to
Yeah.
say USC is a 15-point favorite.
What is it?
Minus 21.5.
Yeah. I think that's right, and I think I'm going to take it.
I think this is the game that everyone's going to be down on Colorado 1, and Colorado is the perfect team to get into a shootout with USC.
Mm-hmm.
I think they have explosive plays on offense. There's some – Travis Hunter's not playing, but they've still got other weapons. I think it's one of those games that you look up and it's like, wait a minute, they're tied at 35 going into the fourth. So I think USC ultimately wins, but it is going to be that shootout game that kind of elevates Colorado again. It's like, wait a minute, they are good. Oregon was a fluke, so –
Yeah, I think defensively for USC, you're going to give up some points on Saturday. It's not going to be what we saw from Oregon. By the way, one of the funniest things was that Keyshawn Johnson quote. about how he felt like that he had sources that told him it was ganging up on Deion from a coaching level that he had never seen.
I've never seen this much information come out about a program. They've played 3 games, bro.
Not only that, like, did you see what Oregon did defensively? Oregon rush 5 played man coverage single high the whole game. It was just like, we're playing man coverage today, dog. Watch this. We got this 6'3" corner that transferred in from Alabama. He a dog. Watch this. We're going to put him out there, and y'all ain't going to complete nothing. Not jack squat diddly. You're going to be holding the football all day long because nobody's open either. That was the game plan. There wasn't no secret sauce. Wasn't no MJ's juice over there in the corner that they were getting a little bit of.
Do that again?
Nah, chill out. Hey, I got USC to win, Colorado to cover. What do y'all got?
Yeah, USC wins a shootout. That's what I'm calling.
Final score 56-31 USC. So I think they cover, but I think it's also a shootout.
I think it's a shootout to like the third quarter, and then USC finally gets a few plays and pulls. I mean, Caleb Williams is Caleb Williams.
I just don't think Colorado's going to be able to stop him.
Speaking of Caleb Williams, you want to get into Heisman updates?
No, because I got to get into these top 10 quarterbacks.
Go ahead.
And we got a bunch of stuff here left. We still have to do overrated, underrated, which is going to get kicked to tomorrow, by the way. Let's do this. All right, top 10 quarterback rankings in the SEC. Disclaimer here, I'm a tape watcher. I think you guys know this by now. These rankings are a combination of what I've seen on the tape, okay, the efficiency, the effectiveness that you are playing with now, okay, plus the ceiling of the athlete, okay? How good can you ultimately be if you were maximized, okay? So this is not a Brooks reads the stat box type of messages, okay, or type of rankings. If you're someone, okay, I don't block people on Twitter, okay, unless they're just, abhorrent or annoying, okay? But if you get into my rankings discussions with, here's the stats, and you just send me SEC stat leaders, you might fuck around and get blocked from now on because I think you're an idiot, and I don't have time for people who are idiots on my timeline. So be very careful how you respond to someone like me who puts out rankings that are strictly based off what I see, feel, and know about the situation, not some mythical number you put into a stat box, all right? Just putting that out there. You're going to mess around and get blocked if you come in with some stats. Duh, look at the stats. Get out of here. Number 1, Spencer Rattler. Hey, did you know that if I just say the second half against Georgia, the number 1 team in the country and one of the best defenses in the country, if we just took that half out and it just didn't exist, did you know that Spencer Rattler will be completing 85.5% of his passes?
That's it?
That's it? 86%. Mans is out here throwing darts, cuz. All right? He's been sacked 17 times. 17 times in 4 games, and he's still managing to play flawless football. I said it on Twitter. He is playing NFL quarterback behind a high school offensive line. That is not a shot at coaching. That is the reality situation. He's got 2 tackles right now, true freshmen. They're getting spun like a top on a consistent basis, despite the fact that this quarterback is playing phenomenally right now. I think he was 18 of 20 for 296 yards last week. He had a QB rating over 200.
Whoa.
Yeah, he's playing phenomenally right now. If you think otherwise, you're ignorant.
Hey, go Cox.
Yeah, hey, go Cox. Number 2, I got Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels leads the conference right now in passing yards per game, touchdowns thrown, and he is LSU's leader in rushing attempts. You a stat guy? Yeah. Don't do the stat guy. Don't do the stat guy. Turn the tape on. Turn the tape on. They are scoring and scoring in bunches through the air. Okay, a lot of his Malik Neighbors, okay, a lot of his him being really, really good on the outside, okay, but a lot of great balls over the last couple of weeks from Jaden Daniels. And I also take into the account how much you're asked to do, okay, how much is put on your shoulders, all right? So if you're basically the entire run game, like the next 3 guys, are actually Connor Weigman's next, but the next couple of guys that we're going to talk about are ranked as highly on my roster or my rankings as they are because, man, the demand for them, not only in the passing game, but to acquire hats and move the ball in the running game is really, really impressive as well on the college level. Connor Weigman coming in at number 3. I know he got hurt here. I'm keeping him here. He has the highest ceiling in all of the SEC. He does. If you told me one of these guys is going to be a top 3 overall draft pick, teams are going to absolutely wager to know that this guy is going to be good or to take a chance at drafting him, it's this guy. I think he's the biggest, highest ceiling of anybody in this conference. And, that's enough for me. The ankle injury looked pretty tough, so we're just going to hold him there, even though I don't think he's going to play this weekend. I got KJ Jefferson at number 4. He's having to play virtually perfect for them to win. The only problem is he hasn't played perfectly. 2 interceptions last weekend, and he's going to have to continue to put the ball at risk. He's going to have to do things that are almost super heroic. He's also averaging like 16 carries per game right now. They're asking him to do a ton. If he doesn't go, they don't go. Again, if he plays perfect, I think they're undefeated. They really are. If he doesn't turn the ball over, they play undefeated, or they are undefeated. I got Jackson Dart, number 5. I watched that tape this morning of that Alabama game. I thought the performance of Jackson, okay, and the lack thereof, it didn't look great in the box score again, okay? But if you watch that tape and look at it, you walk away being far more impressed with Alabama's defense than you would unimpressed by Jackson's performance. I thought he protected the ball relatively well. He had an interception in the football game, I understand. But there were throws where, there's only one spot for us to catch it, and we have to put it there or we're going to turn it over because coverage is so tight. And we put it right there, and Alabama just gets a fingertip on it. Or we put it right there, and our guy just doesn't quite come down with it. Or we put it right there, and it's out of bounds, okay? Just very, very tic-tacky things. And again, he's one of these guys that, he is their offense right now. He is their interior run game. They don't have Quinshon Judkins, great running back, not having a season this year, not having what he had last year. They can't seem to get him loose right now. Number 6, I got Brady Cook. I talked about it in the local hour. I legitimately think Missouri would throw for 500 yards per game if they didn't have to protect their defense right now. They've given up over 30 points the last 2 weeks to mid-majors. It doesn't look great. Not mid-majors. They gave up 38 points to Kansas State. They gave up 31 points this past week to a mid-major program in Memphis. Okay, so this defense hasn't been great. They've been running the ball to protect them, but Brady Cook, I think, is averaging over the last 3 football games, over 350 yards through the air. He's playing really, really well, and he's got a bunch of weapons, and I think Drink does a really good job of designing up winners for that offense as well. I got Carson Beck, number 7. Somebody asked me today, what would he have to do to climb some of these other guys? It's hard for me because those other guys produce such a level or produce such a threat and add such a spice to the offense because of their running game. And in college, that is valuable. Being able to run the football and add an RPO concept has evolutionized offensive play in college football. But I'll tell you this, if he goes out and throws for 330 against these SEC opponents and looks confident and they continue to connect and develop more on the deep shots, then yeah, you're going to see some skyrocketing from our guy Carson Beck in this list. I got A.J. Swan, number 8, and Will Rogers, number 9. They finally let our boy Will Rogers throw it. I think he threw it 48 times last week for almost 500 yards.
Yep.
They finally let Will Rogers rip it. What?
Sorry, Aaron Murray.
Yeah, sorry, Aaron Murray. It's unfortunate for the friend of the show. But could you find a 10th quarterback in this conference that's good, that you feel confident in? He's going to show up this week, throw for 250. 2 touchdowns, not turn it over.
I would be comfortable putting Joe Milton at the number 10 spot. That's number 10 out of 14 is bad. Like, let's not pretend like it's like.
We showed some love to Grammy Mertz last week.
Yeah.
We had him 9 and Joe Milton 10. And then Grammy Mertz showed up this week, laid a dud against our boy Biff Poggi. Mm-hmm. Not Poggi, by the way. Spoiler alert for this network. I know it's a heartbreaker. Biff Poggi on the pronunciation.
Yeah, so I would put Joe Milton at 10. But again, it's 10.
So you're choosing between Joe Milton, Graham Mertz, Peyton Thorne.
Jalen Milroe.
Jalen Milroe. That's it.
No, Jalen Milroe. Whoever Alabama's quarterback is number 14.
If you did have to pick a 10th, Joe Milton. But I think it's also funny that Brady Cook was getting booed coming into the game just a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
And now Buddy's just balling.
Drink had to just absolutely, castrate his own fan base. I love watching a coach get a little ticked off with his fan base. Maybe the next time never mind. If I were to rank, I was going to say maybe the next time Georgia fans boo at home, I'll lob one up to Kirby and be like, hey, Kirby, what you think about them booing y'all motherfuckers? And see what he thinks about that. I would tell you, though, it's not great. It's not great at the quarterback position in the SEC right now. And if we were to play a game, and we're going to play a game right now, how many of those 9 that we just ranked would you put in the top 10 in college football at the quarterback position right now?
I'd have to go with none. Like even
That's
as,
an incorrect answer.
No,
because there's at least one.
Here's the thing: even as
There's
good as
one.
Spencer Rattler is, I don't think he's got the. If you take Spencer Rattler, yeah, he's top 10. But what he has around him keeps him from being that.
But
we're
he's still
just-
performing at a top 10 level.
Yeah. I mean, I look at it as the way of what you just said, though. If I put Spencer Rattler in a different situation, people probably might be talking about him as the best quarterback in college football.
I would agree with that. But the fact that you're on South Carolina right now is not doing you any favors.
Here's how I ranked it. Caleb Williams 1, Michael Penix 2, Drake May 3, Spencer Rattler 4, Sam Hartman 5, J.J. McCarthy 6, Quinn Ewers 7, Jordan Travis 8, Bo Nix,
Hell yeah.
9,
Bodacious.
Jaden Daniels 10.
I like that. I like that list.
That's how I ranked
Where'd
it.
you put Spencer Rattler?
4.
Okay.
I think Spencer Rattler right now, because, my lists are also ceilings and all that stuff that we, proclaimed in our original disclaimer. I think those 3 guys ahead of him, Penix has a slightly higher ceiling just because of the frame, but Caleb Williams and Drake May are the first 2 picks in the draft for a reason. They will be. But if you were to just tell me, hey, who's playing the position the best right now, it is Spencer Rattler. Turn it on, guys. Turn the tape on. He is doing fanatical shit.
And if you were to ask me right now who's the quarterback that gets picked at pick number 25 in the first round next year, Spencer Rattler very reasonably could be that guy.
Played a lot of football games. You're making that face. The NFL teams are going to come around on this. I'm telling you.
Tracy got the arm for
got
it.
the arm, played a lot of football games, understands, knows how to play within chaos. Okay, so if I'm a bad football team with a bad offensive line, what's new for him? He's been getting hit like a dummy for a while.
It goes back to what I always we inflate the first round with like, oh, there's 6 guys that are going in the first round. And that just almost never happens in the NFL. No one's getting Drake May, Caleb Williams are gone like right off the bat. Then after that, what's next? 2 or 3 quarterbacks maybe taken off the
That's
board.
what I'm saying. Like, do you think it's crazy to say that like Caleb Williams number 1, Drake May 2 or 3 right after that?
J.J. McCarthy somewhere in there, and then Spencer Rattler.
I was even going to say like Michael Penix at pick number 12, and then Spencer Rattler 25.
It's feasible. I don't know if I like absolutely like. Oh yes, absolutely. It's
I'd say
feasible
right now, yeah.
All right, that's our show for tonight. Appreciate you guys for being here. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button on your way out. Give me a 3.